residential fixture lease. You will need this addendum if in your contract you've selected B for a fixture lease. Let's get into it. So concerning the property at, you're going to put the address of the property. 911 address, city, state, zip code, county if you need to. Always it's better safe than sorry to put more things if you need to. Let's get into it. So A, leased fixture are those fixtures on the property that the seller leases and does not own. You want to think of the things that are built into the property that would normally be real, like real estate that would go with the property because it's built in, but it's something that they do not own outright. Specifically, solar panels, propane tanks, water softener systems, security systems, and there may be other things too that they may lease on the property. So you're notifying the seller that, hey, we have one of these. You're going to check which one it is. How do you know you have a fixture lease, right? We use MAT, right? MLS. You look at agent remarks, check attachments. They will notify you if there's a fixture lease in place. And sometimes in attachments, they may have this already filled out. So you'll select which one they have. And it says at closing, buyer shall assume the seller shall assign to buy the following fixture leases, either the solar panel, whatever that is. And the buyer shall pay the first, it might be a set amount of cost necessary to assume or receive assignment of the fixture lease, and seller shall pay the remaining. So you can say up to a certain amount. How do you know exactly what it is? Like, say, for example, if it's a propane tank that's being leased out, what you do is contact the company that you have the lease with, or look at your agreement and ask them or let them know, hey, I'm going to be moving. I need to transfer ownership of this. And they usually may have a transfer fee or something associated with it. You'll find that out. And maybe between you and the listing agent, you guys will negotiate how much who will pay for it, okay? The transfer of it. So let's keep going. Buyer shall pay the first, let's say $300, if you found out it was a $300 transfer fee, of any cost associated to assume or receive the assignment of the fixture lease, and seller shall pay the remaining costs. Buyer and seller agree to sign any documents required by the leaser in the fixture lease to assume or assign the fixture lease over to the new owner. We get that? Or not or. And it also says prior to sell, will or will not remove the fixture lease. So it's like, hey, we're going to keep it or we're not. So prior to the sale closing, seller will or will not remove the fixture lease covered by the fixture lease. Oh my, sorry, let me review that. Prior to the closing, seller will, you're going to check if they will or will not remove the lease fixture covered by the fixture lease that the buyer does not assume. So seller will repair any damages to the property caused by any removal. Notice any lease fixture remaining in the property are subject to the right of the leaser under the fixture lease. Okay. So then you're gonna have this. Check this. If you've got a fixture lease, you're gonna check one of the three. Either buyer has received a copy of the fixture lease, buyer has assumed to agree, or B, buyer has not received a copy of the fixture lease, buyer has assumed to agree to assume. And seller shall provide a copy of the fixture lease within 5 days after the effective date. Buyer may terminate the contract within 7 days after the date the buyer has received, 7 days after the buyer has received the fixture lease, and the earnest money shall be refunded. Or seller provides the buyer with a notice of the following verbal, because there are some cases where they have verbal, they just kind of change these contracts to include verbal, but seller may have a verbal agreement or oral agreement, or attach the exhibit. They need to have the name, the leaser's information, the amount, the terms. You write that in here. When you're in the country, sometimes I've seen it where like the neighbor's leasing something to the other neighbor. It's just verbal. It's not really in writing. So that's where you'll select this and put that in here. Okay. And it says at closing, there will be no liens or security interest against the lien fixture, which will not be satisfied outside of the sales proceeds, except for lease fixtures covered by fixture lease buyer assumed agreement. So you got to make sure that the new agreement is transferred over and everybody's done their part, signed paper, paid money to make sure it's transferred to the new person, and they agreed to it. Notice, seller and buyer should consult with the leaser and their attorney regarding the assignment, assumption, or termination of a fixture lease. All right. So anything outside of this, you're talking to who you want to know more information about this lease, you're going to be talking to the leaser, or you might want to talk to your attorney. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. If you have any questions about addendum regarding fixture leases, let me know.